Democracy? What kind of democracy are you talking about? America doesn't have any democracy at this point in time, man. Everybody is endangered. Is that insanity? Is that clinically some kind of distortion in the mind? Definitely the president is not right. He's not in the right state of mind. Ladies and gentlemen, extraordinary pride, extraordinary ego, narcissist mind is actually trying to destroy the whole world. Where is American Congress? Where is the democracy? Who can stop this guy? Is he clinically sick? Where is the Congress? Without the Congress reacting and stopping this president, basically, can we say America has democracy anymore? Is there dictatorship going on in America? Has America reversed into dictatorship from the example of democracy, so to say? And what has happened? They say, German, who's going to get hurt right now? Of course, the agreement, this didn't work. America wants to dictate terms. People were meeting. Leaders were meeting in Pakistan. It didn't produce any result. Now he wants to close the Hormuz. First of all, who's going to be the victim? Who's going to be victimized? And is everybody going to look at this quietly? The NATO didn't work. The Europeans have been shut off, completely closed. You understand? The United Nations cannot do anything. Everybody is just watching. Is this guy going to control the whole world's life? Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a very interesting media right here, and check it out. Check it out.
If the Strait of Hormuz shuts down, some countries don't just struggle. They stop. Not slow down, not take a hit. They stop because entire economies, energy systems, even daily life depend on a single route staying open. It's called the Strait of Hormuz. And right now, it is no longer truly safe. Not officially closed. Ships are still passing through. Oil is still flowing, but the system is no longer stable. Insurance costs are rising. Tensions are escalating. And one of the most critical arteries of global trade is operating under constant threat. Nearly 20% of the world's oil and a massive share of global liquefied natural gas pass through this route every single day. Which means one thing. If Hormuz stops, even temporarily, the effects won't stay regional. They will spread across the entire global economy. So the real question isn't whether it matters. The real question is, who collapses first? Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. Ordinary. On a map, it appears like just another waterway. But when you zoom in, the reality becomes far more fragile. Ships are not free to move across the entire width of the strait. They are confined to a controlled traffic system. 2 narrow shipping lanes, each just 2 miles wide, roughly the width of a small city. For vessels longer than 3 football fields, carrying millions of barrels of oil that leaves almost no room for error. Through these lanes, around 20 million barrels of oil move every single day. There is no alternate sea route nearby, no parallel channel, no backup system. This is not just a busy shipping lane. It is a bottleneck that the entire modern world depends on.
Imagine the president is trying this one. Can you imagine what kind of problems he's going to cause to the whole problem, to the whole world I'm talking about? He wants to close this. He wants, by naval force, he wants to close this Hormuz.
The strategic importance of this narrow passage is not new. For more than 5,000 years, these waters have connected major civilizations. Ancient traders used this route to link Mesopotamia with the Indus Valley, moving goods like spices, textiles, and metals. During the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, the strait became the center of what became known as the Tanker War. Hundreds of ships were attacked, insurance costs surged, global trade was thrown into uncertainty. And yet, despite all of this, the strait has almost never been completely closed. Because every major power understands one thing. Shutting Hormuz doesn't hurt one country. It hurts everyone. But while the consequences are global, the impact is not equal. Some countries don't just suffer, they collapse. Start with Qatar, the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas. More than 90% of its exports pass through Hormuz. There is no backup route. If the strait closes, Qatar has roughly 30 days before storage fills, and production must shut down.
Best way to fix prostate problems? Saw palmetto? Nope.
Here's almost instantly. Now Iraq. Nearly 100% of its oil exports move through this route. Oil makes up around 90% of government revenue. If Hormuz is blocked, that revenue vanishes overnight. From that moment, the decline begins. Within 60 days, the government struggles to pay salaries, import food, and maintain basic services. This isn't a slowdown. It's a state failure scenario. Kuwait faces the same reality. Almost all exports pass through the strait. No bypass, no redundancy, no margin for error. A prolonged disruption means total economic paralysis. Bahrain and Iran follow. Different scale, same dependency. Even Iran's limited pipeline capacity cannot replace the majority of its exports. For these countries, Hormuz is not important. It is essential.
Well, that's the only way they can go out and in. There is no other alternative. I tell you, they cannot export anything, nor can they import, matter of fact. But who's going to get hurt if these are countries that will hurt because they cannot import their products? How about the guys who import, who actually export? No, these countries export oil to survive. But there are many countries that import oil for their survival too. So these countries will be damaged automatically after about 2 months or something, because they will be overflown with production. For example, if a country has 30 days to release whatever it has basically saved, you understand what I'm saying? Then after that, if it cannot, if the flow doesn't exist, if there is no flow to other countries out of the country, it cannot produce anymore. It has to stop production altogether. Imagine how much damage economically they will suffer. They cannot put things out and they cannot bring things in at the same time. But who's going to get hurt on the importing side of the aisle? Many countries depend on this oil. Energy got to keep coming for life to continue, industries to work on, the cars to flow here and there, for life to be sustained, electricity and all that. And who are the countries that will get damaged at the first line of the whole impact, while we know that this will impact the whole world, one way or another?
At this point, it sounds like there must be backup systems, and technically there are. Saudi Arabia can reroute some oil through pipelines to the Red Sea. The UAE can bypass part of the strait through Fujairah. Together, these routes can handle roughly 5 to 6 million barrels per day. But here's the reality. Around 20 million barrels normally pass through Hormuz. That leaves more than 15 million barrels per day with no viable alternative. Even at full capacity, these pipelines cannot replace the strait. The majority of global energy flow still depends on this single choke point.
The world has to get 20 million barrels a day to survive. At 100% scale of the routing, let's say German, but take 5-6 million barrels out of it. That only accounts about 25% of the whole thing. And that cannot supply the world. Let's keep going. It's unsustainable.
After exporters, the next wave hits importers, and most of them are in Asia. Nearly 85% of Hormuz oil flows east. Japan is one of the most vulnerable. It imports the majority of its energy, much of it through this route. Its reserves can cover only a limited period. After that, shortages begin. Industry slows. The economy contracts. South Korea faces a similar risk. A manufacturing powerhouse dependent on uninterrupted energy. Disruption means factories slow, exports fall, pressure builds quickly. India faces a dual crisis. Energy imports decline, and fertilizer supply is disrupted. Without ammonia and urea from the Gulf, agricultural output drops, food prices rise, and the impact spreads beyond energy markets.
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your...
China, the world's largest manufacturing economy. Around 38% of Hormuz oil flows to China. Yes, it has reserves, roughly 100 to 120 days. But those reserves are not designed to sustain growth. They are designed to buy time. If supply drops, factories don't wait months. They begin slowing within weeks. Supply chains tighten, production declines, and global shortages begin long before reserves run out. While oil dominates headlines, another crisis builds quietly. Food. The Persian Gulf is a major supplier of natural gas used to produce fertilizers. Nearly half of global urea trade passes through Hormuz. If that flow is disrupted, farmers receive less fertilizer, crop yields decline, food supply tightens, prices rise. And in vulnerable regions, the consequences escalate rapidly. This is not just an energy crisis, it is a global system.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with these facts on the ground, we're talking about total shut off humanity. Shut off of humanity. Humans cannot exist without food, without fertilizers, and then without energy, oil, and all that kind of thing. But this megalomania, narcissist, obstinate human being, he just overcome all these things. He doesn't understand what he's caused. I have no idea what he's trying to do. Sometimes I doubt if he has the mind at the end of the days of his life, he probably wants to go to heaven or to hell some kind of way by destroying the whole world. Why is he doing all this? And why does he think he has so much power like that? And can somebody stop it? The Congress didn't react yet. The Senate doesn't work. Everybody is quiet. NATO is demoralized. The Europeans are scared. They don't know what they're doing. Africans cannot help. Asians cannot help. Who can come to help in this situation? Can China afford to be destroyed economically? He's going to use the international waters that anybody can use. Can he stop them from using that? What do the Chinese actually feel at this situation? In this situation, what do they feel? How do they want to resolve the problem? Peaceful negotiations wouldn't work. The Congress doesn't exist. Americans cannot do anything besides demonstrating everywhere. Europeans have been shut off. The United Nations doesn't work. The Africans cannot do anything. Japan, everybody has been sterilized by this unfortunate situation. What can the Chinese do? If there is any hope, maybe from the Chinese or the Russians. I'll give you what finally come to the point. Ladies and gentlemen, it didn't work in Pakistan. They met them. So the bluff continued. He wants to destroy everything in Iran. He doesn't understand. The Iranis have 5,000 years of civilization. It's not easy. But no matter what, the Chinese have gotten some opportunities to transfer their weapons, help out. But is there anything going on besides that? Can China warn America to be careful of the consequences? Can Russia do the same thing? Let's check it out.
Stake's message has sailed out of China and straight into the heart of West Asia's most volatile flashpoint. Admiral Dong Jun, China's defense minister, declared that Chinese ships are moving in and out of the Strait of Hormuz as tensions swirl around Iran and the world's most critical oil artery.
Is he going to stop the Chinese from coming in and out? Because they are allowed by Iran to do so. Check this out.
Framing the moment as a test of resolve, Dong signaled that China will protect its trade lifelines and honor its energy agreements with Iran, while warning outside powers against interfering in China's bilateral affairs.
It's very interesting. This is where the catch. They have agreements with Iran to work out bilaterally, to export oil and whatever they want to give them back in return. You understand? Therefore, they cannot break these agreements just because Donald Trump wants to destroy the whole thing. This is conquering the world indirectly in the international waters, putting somebody's navy and stopping the flow of life throughout the world. The Chinese cannot take it. They won't have passage, free passage to continue life.
The remark landed as a blunt diplomatic cue. China intends to stay present, visible, and unbowed in waters that have become a geopolitical pressure cooker.
It's a matter of survival for China. It cannot sacrifice its life right here.
Speaking publicly on Sunday, Dong said Beijing is closely monitoring developments across the Middle East, with particular focus on the Hormuz Passage that funnels a significant share of global oil and gas shipments. He stressed that Chinese commercial and naval traffic continues to pass through the strait without disruption, underscoring how essential the corridor is to China's economy and energy security.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're committed for peace and stability in the world. We're monitoring the situation in the Middle East. Our ships are moving in and out of the water, of Straits from Hormuz. We have trade and energy agreements with Iran. We will respect and honor them and expect others to not meddle in our affairs. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz and it is open for us. So what they're talking about is they will continue doing their business with Iran, no matter what America does. The moment America tries to stop them, we're talking about war. But we're going to go to that extent. For them, it's a matter of life. It's a matter of survival. It's a matter of existence. They cannot stop this and survive. All these industries, all the economy they got. About 30% of the entire homes oil goes to China. Ladies and gentlemen, he cannot stop. What can they do? If it comes to that, they have to defend themselves and fight too. So this is not interference. This is a matter of survival, the way I understand. Unfortunate.
By highlighting uninterrupted maritime movement, Dong projected confidence that China's access remains intact despite the rising rhetoric and military posturing in the region.
Well, I don't think they have any other choice. They better be confident on this one, unfortunately.
The minister also emphasized China's long-standing trade and energy agreements with Iran, stating that Beijing will respect and honor those commitments. In the same breath, he cautioned other nations to not meddle in China's external relations, a phrase that analysts read as a pointed response to Western pressure campaigns and sanctions regimes that often complicate commerce with Tehran.
Well, you see, they consider this as interfering in their internal matters. Does it make sense? Think about it yourself. The way I look at it, yes, of course, it is interfering in their lives.
The subtext was unmistakable. China views its partnership with Iran as a sovereign choice, not a bargaining chip in broader power rivalries.
CNN report citing
the United States accept this reality, of course. It's a sovereign right to deal with any country you want to deal with. Nobody can stop you, especially in this kind of situation, a magnitude that can threaten life and economy of a country, that can paralyze them completely. Therefore, this is their right. It's a matter of right for survival. It's a matter of right for life. Everybody has the right to live, survive. But he's trying to stop that. Let's see what they were doing arms-wise, though.
3 people familiar with the intelligence assessments. The report says China is expected to deliver new air defense systems to Iran within the next few weeks. U.S. intelligence also underscores that Iran may be using the ceasefire as an opportunity to replenish key weapons systems with the help of foreign partners. These systems pose an asymmetric threat to low-flying U.S. military aircraft and played a significant role during the 5-week war. Tehran reportedly downed a U.S. F-15 fighter jet using this type of handheld, heat-seeking missile. F-15 shot down over Iran last week was hit by a handheld shoulder missile. Iran said it used a new air defense system to strike the jet, but did not provide further details. It remains unclear whether that system was Chinese-made.
The first one, which was in many ways as dangerous as the second, I guess it gets, because we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody, we have goggles. I've tried them. They're unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them.
With all my respect to my President Trump, I don't think this is a very sane environment. Check out what he's thinking about, what is going on in his mind, his hallucinations. I think he's just thinking about himself alone. He doesn't care about what's going on. His mental state doesn't seem normal. In my understanding, is the president clinically sick? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, your own judgment, but to me, this doesn't reflect normalcy. Let's keep going.
During daylight. I mean, daylight today, we have a beautiful day. You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's enhanced. So we have the best of the world. So it's much safer for us to do it at night, whereas other people, no other country has that capability. They don't have that particular piece of equipment like we do. But when I was told flying and in daylight, I think we flew 7 hours over Iran, and that's a long time, over unbelievably hostile territory.
Mr. President, you're only the best one, the number one, the ultimate human being of intelligence and actually, what can I say, political scientists. You are everything that we know, but get to the point, please, Mr. President, because the whole world is suffering.
But they have nothing but weapons. We took out their anti-aircraft, which is great. We took out their radar, which is great. We took out a lot, but they still have, you know, what hit this one was a handheld shoulder missile, heat-seeking missile. So it's not like, you know, they're totally whatever.
Well, that came from China, Mr. President, believe it or not. Whether you understand or not, the Chinese are definitely trying to save themselves, their lives. This is one of the most horrific things that ever happened in life. We have seen different American presidents. I have seen so many presidents. I think I came to the United States when Jimmy Carter was in power. But right now, I don't know what kind of president we have. I leave it for you to analyze it somehow. I don't know. But the way I look at it, an extremely dangerous human being that doesn't care for humanity at all. He can kill millions and whatever, just for his pride. Whatever he has said has to be put on the ground. Despite the consequence, we are in this situation, and then, ladies and gentlemen, the Chinese have to get involved. If the Congress cannot stop it, if NATO cannot stop it, if the Europeans cannot stop it, if Africans have no energy or power to stop it, the whole world is just paralyzed. Now, the world probably depends on the other superpowers comparable with America to sustain this collective damage. So China has the opportunity to sneak in, and Russia has the opportunity to sneak in to save the world. Probably so, unless something happens very soon. I'll let you go with this, and I love you. I encourage you to see me in my English channel, but since you're not ready at this point, okay, I just leave it right there. But like and subscribe and share. The world is in danger, out of control. Things are going on, and let God participate in this situation. And then some powers come forward, probably India, China, and Russia can team up to do some, you understand, soul-searching experience with the president. Please sit down. Sit down. Sit down, sir. Please sit down. Settle down a little bit. Think about it a little bit. Just quitting this war doesn't mean you lost. Okay, whatever your pride or your ego interprets it, but please sit down. Give him some candies, man, some cookies to entertain himself, some tea, and then relax him a little bit, and then probably try to bring him to normalcy. I don't think the president is normal. I'll see you next time and have a good time. Take good care of yourself.